Well, hey, good afternoon, everybody. Doofus Bob here once again. We got a lot going on here right now. So, what I did is I went on to Etsy and I will put the links in there. And I want to put the links because some of these products are just really nice. So, we got our ridges out where they're going to be. Let's go over a few things here. We've got our shield generator. Now we've got our laser energy weapons. And then we have these turrets. Okay. So I went on to Etsy and I was looking. Now you could fabricate these by hand if you wanted to, like a lot of terrain people do. But there's no way I was going to be able to get them like this, you know? So I went on to Etsy and bought them all. And I bought some scatter terrain. So this bunker here, I bought two of them. They came out a little bit bigger than I thought they would. And I kind of felt like that could happen. So I've only got one on the board here. We have 4 blaster turrets and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 laser. I don't know what these are called. Laser cannons. So why is all this stuff here while I'm still working on it? So since I got all these peripherals and scatter terrain objects, but I had to put everything on here, including some of the Legion figures, to see where we're going to put everything, right? And make sure that we're not cluttered, right? So all together, we've got some troopers already in the trench here. And then we've got this squad of 5 over here. So that's 7 squads of rebels, which is probably enough. Before I decided I was going to do this, I was buying these and painting these just to put them up. And then very quickly, I think I only had like 1 set of rebels. And I was like, ooh, you know what? We're going to do a diorama. And we have a squad of dark troopers on the Imperial tank back there. We've got a couple of scouts here coming up to this. These are moisture evaporators that I am using as early warning, I don't know, detectors, whatever. It's sci-fi. I've got some stuff already out. So we've got a pair of scout troopers here, a pair of scout troopers there. You know, they're dealing with that early warning sensor. They're going to blow it up. We've got dark troopers on the Imperial assault tank. We've got a squad of snow troopers here, another scout trooper back here. And this is Inferno Squad. It's a unit expansion for Star Wars Legion. I thought it'd be pretty cool if they were back here, maybe coming down from the AT-AT. I'm not sure. And then back here, I'll put pictures, is we've got a squad of stormtroopers and another squad of Imperial stormtroopers that are still in the box. So what I did is I put all the stuff out here to kind of gauge roughly what I want to do. I have 1 tauntaun here. I have 2 more tauntauns that we're going to paint and put out. And if I can find another one of these ATRTs, I'll also do one of those. He's fallen. He's drunk. Okay, there we go. When you're doing a build like this, it's good to take a step back and put out whatever your vision may be and gauge how everything is sitting, because you might overdo it or you might not have enough. So for example, I don't have enough snow troopers and this is the Battle of Hoth. You know, you might think, okay, well, don't put any snow down until I do this, or don't do this until I do that. It's all learning. It's fine. Don't beat yourself up over it. One thing you'll notice, if you've seen the previous videos, is this monstrosity right here. And you're like, well, what the hell is that? That wasn't there before. When we were doing with the heat gun, this seam, which was very, like, I don't know, maybe a millimeter apart, now it's like, it's big enough to where I can fit this paintbrush in there. And I was like, okay, we got to cover that with something. And I went through a couple ideas and stuff, and I was like, everything's just too big. So here's what I did. We took some foam, and we cut up a bunch of foam styrene pieces, and we glued it to this foam. And the idea was that when the rebels dug all these trenches, where did all this go? Now, I did put the snow mounds here, but this is a lot of material. If you've ever seen hole diggers and bulldozers, when you dig out this stuff, there's a lot of material. In this case, it was snow, ice, probably some rock. Well, what if they took it all and piled it over here? Now, this was not in the movie, but it works out well for us because it allows us to cover the seam. So if I put this one here, you can see that we've covered the seam, and it's another battlefield scatter terrain, kind of like a trench warfare obstacle, right? That covers it up. And I'm going to show you how we did this too. We're going to make one of these, the rest of it right here. I broke it in two just because. And then we will make the snow and cover the ridges. And then we'll finally be done with the ridges and the seam. So I did my original mixture. Let me grab my piece of paper here. So we mixed together. Let's see. This is 50 mils of glue, about 100 mils of water, about 50 to 100 mils of paint. I'm getting low on paint, so I didn't put as much in there. And mainly because I'll show you, we're going to go over this with a plaster mixture anyway. And then we added 3 spoons of drywall mud. Based on the R&D episode, which you can go back and check out, I'm going to put a layer on here of this stuff. And then we're going to go over it with the plaster. Now, and we'll show you why. Now, this right here, I got this on Amazon. This is an oil drip pan. So far, I think this is high density polyethylene, and it's sticky to it, but the previous one that I did as a test off camera didn't actually like this didn't stick to it. Okay, so there's different ways we could do this. You could just pour it on here, and I'm going to do it a couple ways. This dry rub that we did with the white on top of the black painted rock and stuff looks really good. Part of me is tempted to leave it that way, but snow builds up on ridges. And looking at the pictures from the movie, I kind of want it to look like that. Let me get that out of the way. So let's do it different ways. Okay, let's do a few different ways. And we're going to go back and go over stuff again anyway. So as you can see, if I just pour it like this and just let it run down, you can do it that way. You can catch it back into the, The other thing we can do is we can get a brush and just kind of do that. But the reason I don't like that is because it leaves brush marks. Okay. If you don't want to cover all of it, that's fine. You can do it the way you want to. But I'm just going to do it like this. And then we've got some outcropping here. I kind of just want to go around that a little bit. Like that. So that sticks out a little bit. Let that stuff run down. Again, it's up to you as to how much you cover it. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So then, now for this part here. So for this part, let's see. I think snow would collect over here. So run down that way a little bit. Probably over here. Like that. We're definitely going to have some collecting around in here. I'm trying to get in between, but not on top of everything. Like that. Let it be a little natural. And then it can flow down here. Remember, Hoth is probably frozen. Well, not probably, it is, right? But at the same time, the sun is hitting it. It will melt a little bit. Now, the parts that we're going to go over later with black paint, just to bring out the rock a little bit more later. Now, these lines here look a little too artificial, so we can go over some of those. Get a little bubbling there. There we go. Definitely going to have some snow around here. And again, if you do this and you don't like it, just paint over it with black paint and go do it again. All that overlapping texture and everything will actually probably end up looking pretty good. A little bit more over here. Let it run down here a little bit. Definitely, let's get some over here. I'm gonna have to pick this up and work on it. Trying to work around the camera here. Let's see. Like that. Like that. And we're probably going to have a lot over here because it's just going to pile up. And we also have a seam over there we probably want to cover. Okay. Now, as for when this dries, and I'll show you another one that's already dry here, it's going to look very thin and rough. The smooth snow mound texture will come from the plaster stuff we're about to do. Okay, I want to cover up all the good rock detail. There is a lot of snow on Hoth, isn't there? Let's see. A little bit up there. A little bit there. I'm going to leave this part here because I like the way it looks. And then these little streams here, I want to blend those in a little bit. Yeah, looks all right. That was me hitting the camera again. Trying not to do that. Now this part down here is all going to be covered in snow. We're going to have snow mounds around it, so that's okay. Okay. All right, now for the top, I'm going to leave the top alone. I think I'm going to use a lot more plaster over there. All right, so I'm going to put this in the back. This is the piece that we did with the drywall mix, right? So then I took and I made some water with, mixed some water with plaster of Paris, right? If you add just a drop of blue to it, it gives it a much brighter white, okay? And we want it to stand out a little bit differently. So kind of hard to see there. Too much light there. But I made it roughly. You see how thick that is? It's about vanilla pudding thick, right? And then now I'm just gonna grab a brush and a spoon and put it in here. This old metal pot is pretty good for this. I'm gonna use a brush for this. And I think on the first part of this video, I didn't have the light on. And I just turned that on. So hopefully between the white and everything in the light, hopefully I'm getting good. So now I want to put on like the snow drifts, right? See how much thicker it is? I'm going to use this to fill in some areas. Brush is okay for that, but I think we're going to grab a spoon, get some of this stuff in here, and put, yeah, like that. Because the snow is going to pile up in places, isn't it? Now, this part up here, probably end up coming back through and with a brush and doing a little black dry brushing on there. But see, how do we want to do this? There we go. So we've got a nice flat coating, which was the drywall one, but now we're going to put on some thicker stuff. I want the snow to look like it's piled up a little bit. Have some texture, especially down here. And if this video doesn't come out looking good, I will actually show you part of it and then show you the parts that I didn't like. Because in case you're thinking about starting your own channel, this does take a little time, you know, and try to get it right. There we go. Now, last episode, I was using my paint knife. And you're probably not wondering why I'm not using it now, but I'm going to tell you why. Because I don't know where I put it. Try to stay organized. Not all going to be perfect, you know. So I don't want to cover up everywhere I did the drywall, but just in some places to make it look like snow is flowing when it melts in the sunlight. This is a good spot over here. Let me get the brush now. What I want to do is get a little bit on here and just kind of dab it on there like that. Yeah. A little bit right there. Now this under part here, I'm kind of happy with the way it looks, but I wonder if I could just put like a little bit there. Kind of give it a little texture because the plaster stuff behaves a little bit more like whipped cream, right? You can do a little bit more with it. It's not quite as thin. I did try to make a thicker drywall compound, but it doesn't have the body to hold up. So like this stuff here, you know, once I poured it down, it stopped moving. The drywall one tends to flow more, and that's what these like little, I don't know, what do you want to call them? Rivers of drywall. Kind of at a loss for words here. I think, yes, I think we have some new subscribers, so welcome. Hope you like what you're seeing. Feel free to comment. I haven't had too many people comment though. Let's see. I think we're going to, yeah, let's put a little bit more down here, like this, and over here. So there is that seam there, right here, where the two pieces meet. You can keep that because natural geologic rock does do that. It does form in layers. Or we can do this right here like this and kind of come down. And that makes it look like, here, let's get the spoon again. Because what I want to do is this. Just kind of throw it on there. And it has enough flow to where it'll go somewhat down and then stop on its own. And then we've got a ledge over here. Let's put some stuff in the ledge. And so that's why I was aiming for kind of a vanilla pudding consistency, because notice it flowed and then it stopped. Okay, because it's plaster of Paris, so it's already starting to set a little bit. That's kind of what I want. Let's see, where else can we put some? Maybe a drop over here. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Okay. All right. You can always come back to it if we want to add more. In this corner over here, I kind of want to put like a little bit here, like that. Maybe come around here. Let it do its thing. Of course, this side here is our fourth wall. Nobody's going to see that. So we can just kind of mop that up a little bit. A little line there, that's okay. So there we go. See, I could delete this part but I want you to see what goes into making some of these. Kind of a waste of foam board, but there we go. That's a little bit better now. See, I think you guys can see better now. I'd have to take the thing outside and wash it, get all that drywall mud off of there. But it's kind of cold today. We're here in the Midwest of the United States. For those of you that aren't in the United States, and it's temperature dropped on us again. A little drop there, a little drop here. Now this one, and that one, I'm gonna put some around it, but then I'm going to dry brush it later to accent the rocks. The amount of dry brushing and layering and everything you do, again, is entirely up to you. I said this before, this is for me. This isn't for terrain playing games or not. Although I suppose they could. I do have friends who do it. If they wanted to borrow it, they can. I'd rather they didn't. It took a lot of work to do this. So you can see the plaster will give a little bit more texture. The previous stuff was flat. I know I said it before a minute ago, but it's kind of emphasizing. Okay. Yeah. Don't want to get rid of all the work we did. Not all of it anyway. There we go. Now, because we put just a drop of blue into this paint mix and plaster mix, it should come out brighter than the drywall mud underneath, and that was on purpose. We want to contrast a little bit. You notice I don't have my gloves on because I forgot to put them on. I'd love to tell you some other reason, but there isn't. I was sitting there watching TV, waiting for this stuff to kind of dry a little bit so I can start working on it. Kind of feel like I need to do something more like this over here. I don't want it to look like it dripped down, but I want a little bit more body to the side here. It looks too flat and looks a little painted on. So here's a nice trick. Holding my spoon at an angle, I'm just adding to it. There we go. We'll do the same over here. Just kind of, there we go. That looks all right. That looks all right. Okay. Let's do the same on the other side. Hope you're having a good Easter Sunday. Actually, today is Easter Sunday, isn't it? Not really doing anything. Went ahead and took the next day off tomorrow just because people at work are getting on my nerves. Although I think I say that all the time. I'd give you some gossip about it, but they might be watching. Okay. Let me get the brush here a little bit. I don't want to. I did 2 of them, so you could see. Right, we got a lot of snow on this side, a little bit less snow there, even less on top. This is going to dry. The nice thing about the plaster one is, it's been about an hour and a half, maybe almost 2 hours since I did the drywall one. This one, the plaster one, should be done in about 15 minutes. Or done by, I mean, it should get nice and hard by then. I've got my ridges covered in all the plaster and everything drying. We need to fix the seam, right? Where the two styrofoam pieces meet, and it doesn't look good. So I made this, and I was going to talk to you about how to make it. So I took a piece of foam board and I cut a strip. This is about 1 inch to 2 inches wide. It's not a perfect rectangle because we want it to look natural. And then I took a knife and just cut the edges off a little bit to give it kind of a 45-degree angle. So what we're going to do is I heated up my wire cutter here, and I need to cut off a bunch of pieces. So let me move this out the way over here. The whole table is just a mess at the moment. The plaster business and the drywall is just really messy. So let me just cut these real quick. Again, this is a hot wire cutter I got on Amazon probably, I don't know, a year ago, probably. Before I started working on the spaceport. Okay. And then I'm just cutting some small sections, like bricks, if you will. So the idea is that the rebels dug out the trenches and they took all the debris and created a wall with it, right? That's this wall right here. And then I'll show you this. This was, I didn't see any videos on this. I just had an idea and ran with it, but I made way too much. And so I decided to use it for this. I'm just going to break this up. And as I'm making this, get my dirty plaster pot over here. We're just going to put all those pieces in here. Actually, let's just do it like this. I don't think it matters how many I make. Show you what I'm going to do with all this. Actually, you probably can't see. Whoops. Now remember, these are chunks of snow and ice that they dug out of the ground. This is the rebels, not the Imperials, so they're not going to be uniform. So don't sit there. Now, if I was building like a castle or something, actually, I should. If you go online, go to YouTube and type in terrain, tabletop terrain, Lord of the Rings, Minas Tirith. There's a guy, I can't think of his name. I do apologize for that. But he made a whole bunch of little bricks like this. And then, he, how many do we have? Yeah, a little bit more. And what he did was he just sat there and made all these little uniform bricks. And I think he used one of those hot wire cutters that, you know, kind of like a table saw. Those are pretty nice. I might get one, but I don't see the need for it at the moment. After I do this, I think I'm going to go play some video games. Sorry about all the mess, but this has been a messy day. Okay, how many do we have now? That's probably enough. Okay, I'm going to turn this off. Careful where you put it when it's hot. Don't set your project on fire. This is kind of the cool part because this was real easy to do. All right, watch this. This is just ridiculous. I came up with it. I'm going to put a little bit of water in here. Not much. Then Okay, then we're going to put some glue. Not that much. You don't need a lot, because what we're doing is we're just going to coat it. Okay. Wipe off the glue from the spout. Otherwise, you're going to have a hell of a time getting that lid off of there. Had to get some pliers the other day. Okay. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of white paint in here. Okay. Probably a tablespoon, roughly. And then 1 drop of the dark blue. Let's see, we got the water, glue. Okay. Then grab a spoon, any spoon. This one's the plaster one, right? This is what we end up with. It doesn't matter if we beat it up a little too much. It's not going to hurt nothing. Oop, some of it snuck out on me. Put that back in here. Okay. So now you can see all the little pieces are coated. I'm going to put a little bit more of the light blue in here. And then another drop of the dark blue, because these are chunks of ice and maybe even a little bit of ground, but probably mostly ice and tundra that the rebels dug out, right? Now, I'll tell you a mistake that was made here. When I made this one, I should have just kept going, because I'll probably not be able to match this color exactly. But it's all right. This isn't for a movie set, and it's not for a professional display. It's just for me. But that is something to remember. And we're pretty light. Let's add a little bit more blue. And you have a pretty good work time with this. This isn't going to dry up on you right away. Still not really there, is it? Let's add a little bit more. I'm not going to worry about it too much, because there's going to be snow on top of here anyway. Okay, let's go now with this one a little bit more. There we go. That's closer to what I'm looking for. Keep turning it towards me instead of towards you. And yep, that's what we want. Okay, now let me go put some gloves on, and I'll be right back. I'll tell you, I have really made a mess in my man cave here. There's styrofoam and dried plaster bits all over the floor. Okay, so we've got glue in here, right? So I'm not going to put any more down here. Before you starting put this stuff down here, you're going to want to put a layer of glue on this side, and you have to put it on the other side. This is foam board, right? So you got paper, then foam, and then paper. If you only put it on one side, or if you just went ahead and started gluing all this onto here, it will start to curl up on you, okay? Because as this dries, it's pulling. But if you put glue on both sides and then let it dry overnight, it's not going to do that. All right, now watch this. We're just going to take this stuff out and just put it on here, just like that. Don't worry about the paint because we're going to paint over it and we're going to use some plaster snow on top, right? If I don't have enough, I'll make more. I think we got enough though. And we actually got it pretty close in color. This worked out great. I'd love to say that I saw this somewhere, but it was an idea I had, and I was like, oh, I wonder if that would work while I was sitting here one night, and I tried it, and it worked fantastic. So I'm going to take this as my own little idea. Okay, that's all the pieces. I have to wash that pot out. Okay. Okay. Might be a little bit higher. That point, boy, he just does not want to be there, does he? Okay. There we go. Look at that. We needed something to cover the seam. And I thought about a scatter trench warfare terrain, but I didn't think it would cover very well and try to keep it looking natural. There you go. And it's even the right color. I am going to let this sit and dry and then probably go have some dinner. I've been working on that since this morning. And then put all the ridges in place, put the seam covers in place, and then I'll do an outro and I'll keep it short. My YouTube channel manager Donut said I'm talking too much, like I am right now. All right. I'll see ya in a second. So we're back once again. And as you can see, we got everything set up. And what I'm doing now, as this is actually doing a bit of an outro, and what I'm doing is just touching up where I want the like some rocks to stand out a little bit more. So like right here, it's gonna be a little hard for you to see there because you're so far back, but I just want to add a few dark patches to contrast with all the gray and white. So like right here, well, that's falling off on me. So we did quite a few layers of stuff. We did obviously we've got our thin drywall layer, and then on top of that we put the plaster layer like here and here, and so like right here, add a little bit of black paint to maybe emphasize a little rock sticking out there. So we're just touching up a few spots here, giving it a little bit of depth. You know, now you'll notice there's some white glops on there. That's just regular Elmer's glue that I just poured into a spoon and just poured it over it just to kind of lock it all into place. A few pieces fell off here and there. And as far as covering that with snow, there's many ways you could do it. You can make a little thin plaster solution, maybe like a milky white plaster thing, and just pour it over. Just make sure you don't do it on top of whatever it is your main project is, because then it'll be stuck there. Um, so I did a lot in this episode. There was just quite a few things going on. And, you know, I was told that my outros are too long, but I just wanted to do a little bit more here while you're here. Let me show you what I'm doing here. Just putting a little bit of darkness on some of these ridges here to make it look like rocks jutting out under the snow, you know, because that's actually how it would look, isn't it? So like right here, right there. You know, we don't want it too gray. We didn't want it completely dark either. There we go. Just a little bit here and there. And then like right here, you can put a lot and look, and it kind of just offsets everything a little bit. And then like right here, again, we're just like going over the ridges a little bit where the snow might blow off. You know, see, so we put like a nice little ridge over here, a bit over there. This is a complete cover of snow here, so we're going to leave that alone. Yeah. It's, you know, you can get as deep as you like into this. I will probably work on this a little bit more here and there, take some close-up pictures of the end. Now, when moving this around, be careful. So here's a piece that broke off right there. And I think that was from over here, but we'll just put it back on. Here's a good little outcrop of rock right here. And there's some wet stuff right there. We'll leave that alone. Maybe just a little dab there, a little bit there, a little depth over here. You know, a little contrast here and there to kind of break it up. And that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Let's look on this side. We could put like a nice little line right there, coming up over here. Make a nice little dark spot over here to kind of shadow it up a little bit. And maybe like right here. Okay, this part sticking out. Let's go ahead and cover that up a little bit. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Right here. So, again, did a lot. We did a lot in this episode. This episode for me is about 2 days. Let's see, what's today? Sunday? So Friday, Saturday, no, 3 days. 3 days, not nonstop. I do other things, but anyway. So the next step, we will begin painting our Rebel forces and Imperial forces. I got a few more little Star Wars Legion figures coming in the mail, and that's it. That's it. We're gonna then, as we make that, we need to paint the shield generator. And what I'll probably do is paint one of the Rebel troopers and kind of show you how I'm going to, you know, choose different colors. Probably like do one or two members of the squad, then do them all and show you a final picture. Otherwise, I could spend an hour here just painting. So, all right. Hey, happy Easter. Welcome to new subscribers. Tell your friends. We've gotten more. It's pretty good. And I will see you next time. So take care and may the force be with you. See you later, everybody.